Well, in 2020, we had almost 16 million new gardeners in the United States, thanks to the pandemic and people wanting to grow fresh fruits and vegetables at home. So with all those new gardeners come lots of new problems and some new successes. And we saw that with people calling our office and online in plant discussion groups about all the different problems that people have in their garden. So what we're going to do is talk over the next few months about what are those potential issues that new gardeners face. And we're going to start off talking about planting and spacing and getting things just right to set us up for success. Now, first we're going to talk about the spacing. Sometimes we get a little bit overzealous perhaps and plant too many things in too small of a space. For example, here I have a little raised bed cart here that I bought. I'm at my office here and I want to plant this, but I know that I can't fit a giant tomato plant in here and I can't fit giant peppers. So what I'm going to do is plant things in here that are specifically made for containers. I know that I have enough space to plant those. So I have patio choice yellow tomatoes, and I have a jalapeno, and I have an eggplant that is a miniature variety. All of these are All America Selections winners that we've trialed out in our garden. And so they're going to be in here and they're not going to take up a lot of space. But if I'm out in a big garden, I might have more space, and figuring out what can I plant and remembering to leave enough space around things like a tomato. You might see that little tiny tomato plant and say, oh, I have plenty of room for that, and I'm going to plant it a foot apart from something else, but it needs more space. You might need about 2 or 3 feet around that tomato plant to get a good space. So think about that and lay that out. Don't crowd your garden too close together, because you're going to end up with a mess, and actually that is good fodder for diseases and insects to come into your garden. Number 2 is to know what you're planting and how it grows. We have people that may plant one tomato plant not realizing that it's an indeterminate tomato plant and it will keep growing and be 9 foot tall if you let it go. And other people may not realize that one radish seed only turns into one radish. Maybe they were expecting a radish bush. And some of these things may sound weird, but if you've never gardened before, you may not understand how things grow. So do a little research to understand how things grow and how much space that they need. Another thing that we can think about is the timing. You know, we may have had people planting stuff a little early, and we had a late winter where temperatures stayed really cool in the evenings and damaged some stuff. Or people think if I don't plant it by the 1st of May, it's too late and I can't plant it. But there's a long planting calendar. Those cool season crops, they can be planted early in March and April in most places. And those warm season crops can actually be planted into the season. Still haven't planted your tomatoes and peppers and cucumbers and it's beginning of June. That's just fine. A lot of those things can be planted well into the season for a later harvest. And so you can actually space out that planting. You don't have to plant it all at once. You can space that out and get a harvest throughout the season, and even sometimes avoid pests that are early in the season if you do that late planting. For example, tomatoes, you can probably plant those up until mid-June or even late June. Beans, you can do those late into the season for a fall crop. If they're a fast-growing bean, you can actually plant them up until July and August for a fall crop. And then of course we have those cool season crops that you can plant again in August and September to get through the winter and have a beautiful crop. As you look past last year and this year and years in the future at your gardening successes and failures, you can figure out what went wrong and ask for help. Contact your local extension office to get the best scientific information on what will help you. You can also find us online. We have the First Steps to Vegetable Gardening website. We have the Backyard Farmer YouTube channel with all of our past episodes, and also our Grow Big Red YouTube channel where we have lots of recorded sessions on question and answer and lots of those pressing issues for gardeners.